Yeah, it's Mr. Edogawa. Mr. Edogawa from Persona 3. Persona 4 and Persona 3 have a crossover in which we have Mr. Edogawa as a teacher. He's the one who is dropping all of the lore, or subtly dropping it in Persona 3, but for the most part, he's just going on long tangents about magic. So I have pulled up the game. We're gonna get blasted with nostalgic Persona 4 music in a moment. Right about now. I believe when you go to this, then there's like this special section for the TV, which is kind of funky, right? And so there's all this extra content. Daily Personamations. Memorable scenes, not so memorable scenes of edutainment. Like, okay, here we are. This is the Mr. Edogawa's classroom segments. Like, what are personas and shadows? The unconsciousness, beyond space-time, archetypes, the structure of the psyche. I remember doing these and thinking that, oh, I want to learn more about Young, and then I didn't, and that was that. It's been a while since I checked out all the Persona Classroom segments. TV Classroom. They're pretty fun. Okay, good, yeah. Hello there, everyone. It's time for Mr. Edogawa's TV Classroom. You might be surprised to know that my day job is as a school nurse. What? Usually the students ask me about their health. Is this actually true? But sometimes I get questions like this. Mr. Edogawa, what are personas and shadows? Apparently, I have them inside me. He's an interesting fellow. It was due to such requests that I decided to start the show, Mr. Edogawa's TV Classroom. This lecture will cover Jungian psychology, so you too can learn about personas and shadows and much more besides. I call it Everyone Loves Jungian Psychology. Let us study the science of the human mind that Dr. Jung built. Today's lesson is the first installment, What are Shadows and Personas? I just think this is the best thing. What are shadows and personas? Spoken from a Jungian context that we then apply to persona itself. Edogawa knows everything. I'm almost positive he's actually just the mastermind of everything. Mr. Edogawa himself created personas and shadows in the world. Let's get started. He likes to say this Latin phrase, I assume Latin, Palus eron azinomas. He said that last time too. Does it mean like, let's get on with it? Let's start with the persona. It is the other you that comes out when you interact with others. Edogawa is a personal assistant who is giving him voice. The persona that I present is someone playful, extroverted, happy. All things are only a fragment of my personality. When you talk to someone, is that the real you? Exactly. Am I presenting real me real right now? Or are you presenting the you real right now? Person you are talking to is expecting, or the you that you want people to see. Either of the yous are a persona. So the V I want you to see is somebody who is happy, bubbly, likable. You better like me or else. That sounds like a helpful other you, doesn't it? Personas are there when you need them. A good way to think about them is the you that you don't want to be or don't think of yourself as. Time for some story time. Do we have story times? It's not a big story time. But one thing I definitely don't want to be, you can answer this question too. What is the you don't want to be? What is the thing you do not want to describe yourself as? One thing I don't want to describe myself as is stubborn or selfish, even though I probably am, incompetent or stupid. Another thing I really don't want to be, a perfectionist. Shadows are just that, shadows. They are the side of you that you keep locked away in your mind as evil. Evil! Being selfish, that's your evil side. The side that judges other people. Oh, I was feeling particularly evil yesterday, and it was feeling bad, real bad. I went to like another writing conference, and I'm so judgmental. Like egotistical. Like thinking I'm better than everyone else. No. Sounds like a scary other you, eh? It appears that you need to handle shadows with care. Now, personas and shadows are both other yous. Interesting, right? Personas and shadows, I love this, are two sides of the same coin. So then, why aren't you aware of them? It's because they lurk deep inside your mind, in your unconscious, like in the midnight hour? Do they call it? Whatever they call it. It's important to understand. So let's take a closer look at the unconscious. There is a domain in all of our minds that we are typically unaware of. This is known as the unconscious. And the unconscious is the source of the mind's activity. So you, and yes, even you, all have an unconscious deep. I have an unconscious deep. The unconscious is said to be much bigger than the conscious mind too. Are you all listening? Are you still conscious? He's like so much more interesting in this than Persona 3. He's so boring in Persona 3, but He has this confidence in him, doesn't he? The unconscious hidden deep inside your mind. It is in this realm that you cannot explore that the power to change yourself lies. Here we are. This is what makes Persona so inspiring, is because it's a game about the unconscious mind and about changing ourselves for the better. How do we change ourselves? In the unconscious. The other yous live in the unconscious, lying in wait for the chance to make it out to the conscious mind. Who are they really, and how should you go about handling them? These are the concepts I'll be introducing you to. Make sure to tune in. So I am very intrigued. Oh yes, the collective unconscious. Now, this one is infinitely fascinating to me, the collective unconscious. So in Persona, the collective unconscious always has a form, but I think the collective unconscious is most used in Persona 5 because I feel like social media is like the collective unconscious becoming conscious. So far, we've covered the existence of the unconscious mind, as well as the other yous known as personas and shadows which live there. It's so interesting. They just live there. There's me, there's my unconscious, and then inside floating all around is personas and shadows. And then we have this image of what Persona is all about, the video game. That's what I love this lecture so much. Human minds are all connected, transcending space and time. In other words, man's unconscious is shared. Did I forget to mention that this show will involve viewer participation every so often? Oh really? When you see a selection on the screen, use the buttons in front of you to make your choice. Now that I've explained, man's unconsciousness is shared. That's amazing. That's stupid. Or I knew that. I'm gonna say that's stupid. I just want to be contrarian, okay? Judging by your selection, I can now imagine the unamused look on your face, but that's all right for now. But answer me this, have you ever noticed that no matter what the era or location, man tends to have a certain sensitivities? That's not something I just came up with. Jung's thorough, painstaking research suggested that man's unconsciousness is shared. If Jung was alive today, he might say something like the human mind isn't an isolated terminal, it's networked, and that network is known as the collective unconscious. The original German phrase is Kollektivs Unbewusstes. Sorry, in case you were curious. The other yous, the personas and the shadows, to tell you the truth, they are deeply tied to this collective unconscious. How? I'll explain this term more later, but they are archetypes. Yes, here we go! I knew he was going into the archetypes. Images born from the collective unconscious. Images born from the collective unconscious. It's starting to become quite a handful, isn't it? Speaking unconscious what? Archamagic? Speak English, you egghead. I can hear the screams from your heart. Oh, can he? By the time my lectures come to a close, you'll no doubt be saying this was so collectively unconscious. Let's review a little, shall we? Use the buttons in front of you to answer. Are you ready? All right. I ask thee, the hidden you within your mind, what is the part of your mind where it dwells called? The hidden you. The persona is the hidden you. What a shame, but you got it wrong. You should have been able to handle that one unconsciously. Lucky for you, the show is available on demand so you can review. Was he talking about the shadow? Oh yeah, the persona is someone that we... I can't believe I got it wrong. The persona is someone that you consciously put out, and the shadow is someone you unconsciously are, right? And fear that you are. But wait, both the persona... Sorry. The persona and the shadow are both in the unconscious. So, okay. Next time we'll dig a little deeper into the unconscious. I am not a good teacher assistant.